Okay, so let me share my screen so folks can see the agenda, and if I can actually find it. Can folks see my screen? Okay. All right, so it is 17:02. We've got a quorum present, so I'd like to call the meeting to order of the executive committee for the Otter Creek CUD. The first up on the agenda is to approve the agenda, which everybody should be able to see on the screen. We have approve the agenda, approve the meeting minutes, updates, partner discussions, project manager update, OCCUD, VCBB, grant stuff, and any other business. Any question, comments, thoughts on the agenda before we get a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thanks, Larry. Any second?
I will second it.
All right, thanks, Chris. Okay. Comments, questions, thoughts, addenda, changes, anything you folks want to update? Okay, let's call for a vote. And all those in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye.
I
Aye. Any opposed? No, ayes have it. The agenda is approved. Thank you. All right, let me pull up the meeting minutes. Yep, these are them. Sorry, we didn't get these to you a little bit earlier, but I think you had a day or two to review these before this meeting.
Yeah, I posted those out to the website too, just this
Thanks, Chris.
afternoon when I got them.
We get a motion to approve, or
I make a motion that we can approve the notes from the last meeting.
thanks, Chris.
I'll second, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Any discussion of the previous meeting minutes? Okay, all those in favor of approving the previous meeting minutes from the 11th of Jan, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Meeting minutes are approved. Thank you very much. All right, general updates. I don't have, the only update I have is really around the project manager, and one other. I got a request from VCBB earlier this week to I have some discussion in the VCBB section, but I got a request from VCBB earlier this week to provide a status update for sharing with reporters who had been pestering them. And it was a general update that I think all the CUDs got, but I just sent them a note to basically tell them that we are still working on our public-private partnership discussions. We are in the process of hiring a project manager, and that we're making preparations to start the construction grant application. But those are the only things there. Anybody else have any general updates before we move on to partner discussions and project management stuff? All right. Excuse me. I think I'm getting a cold. Partner discussions. We've been meeting on a weekly basis with a potential partner. The agreement is, I would say, 90% finished. It's been through legal review several times. We expect to get an update on engineering and the cost estimate. We were hoping to get that last week. Actually, we were hoping to get it before the end of December, but we didn't. But we should get it by Friday. We have another meeting on Friday. Excuse me. And then, as I said under the previous update, we're getting close to the point where we're going to want to initiate working on the construction grant, because it will take some time. The previous experience would indicate that it's a couple month long process to get all that stuff together and done and submitted in the back and forth with VCPB. So, any questions on that? If folks need a more detailed discussion, we can go to executive session and stop the recording and all that good stuff. Okay. Project manager update. I heard back from them early this week that they are okay with the latest version of the agreement. I answered them back to tell them that our next steps were to just get go through the agreement one more time, finalize any of the make sure everybody's happy with it. Excuse me, and get it signed. That was on Monday. I haven't heard back from them since, so I'll reach out to them tomorrow and sort that out. I hope to be in a position to finalize that agreement this week. Like I said, they didn't ask for any changes, and we haven't asked for any changes from the latest version of the agreement. So, questions, comments? All right. Larry, you got any updates for OCCUD?
Just a couple. Our last OCCUD meeting was January 17th. But we met Otter Creek as a full board the next day on Wednesday, so I reported that out. We had our legislative day last week. Mike Small from Ludlow, from Sudbury attended, so I got to meet him in person and got to meet all the other OCCUD members in person. Stood looking at them for a screen, so it was well received. Resolution was read supporting all the work CUDs are doing in the VCBB and OCCUD. They're $19 in parking. We did pretty well, so it was a good day. The only other thing, I'm not sure if I've read all this out before. The VCBB has requested $30 million for matching funds for the potential NTIA Middle Mile Award. The governor included this in the proposed Budget Adjustment Act. There appears to be solid support for this, and it looks like it'll be in the House package, which will pass Friday, and that was January 27th, so that it did pass. Looks like the text will reflect the governor's original language, which referenced NTIA Middle Mile. It would not allow these funds to be used for other purposes if Middle Mile Award doesn't happen. Again, that NTIA is National Telecommunications and Information Administration. Middle Mile, again, that definition means any broadband infrastructure that does not connect directly to an end user location. Kind of a better definition. Middle mile broadband is the physical fiber optic infrastructure needed to enable internet connectivity. It is made up of high capacity fiber lines that carry large amounts of data at high speeds over long distances. And then B, there's discussion going on with that, which is the broadband equity access and deployment program that requires a 25% match. And the USDA Rural Development Telecom Loan and Grant Programs, that's a 25% match. Required funds will be used for construction of middle mile and last mile. The only other thing is our new CUD, which is Chittenden County CUD, are out working on hiring an executive director. So they're reaching out to CUDs that have the executive directors just to get information on how they went about it. So that's what they're up to. I think that's it.
Thanks, Larry. Hey, they had asked for job descriptions for project managers or executive directors. Did you by any chance send them ours?
Excuse me. Oh,
Okay.
no, they're requesting, glad you clarified that. They're in the process of hiring an executive director, not a project manager.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought I read it that they were trying to get either, but that's why I haven't sent them anything. Because I wanted to get some more clarity before sending them something they didn't need. Okay. Any questions for Larry before we move on? All right. OCCUD updates, VCBB updates. The only thing I would say there is I've been going back and forth with VCBB trying to get access to the portal that they use for the construction grant applications. The reason for that is, has become obvious after trying to get access to the portal, because it's taken me 2 weeks and I still don't have access. So with us getting to the point where we might be applying, making applying for the grant application or starting the grant application, I wanted to get ahead of that if we could. I don't think there's any other updates for VCBB. Next item on the agenda is grants. Amanda is graciously still helping us with grant reporting. Jackie, have you sent her the latest financials so she can include that in the latest grant reports?
I haven't gotten the financials from January yet.
Okay.
So as soon as I get them, I'll forward them on to her.
Okay. All right. That's it for the grants. All right, next item is the financials and the warrant. I have the warrant. Can folks see it on the screen? So it's the two Google invoices and accounting services invoice. Any discussion before we call for a vote on this? All right. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the warrant as presented for $719.28.
I'll second.
Thanks, Larry. Questions, comments? All right. All those in favor of approving the warrant as presented, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, okay. The warrant is approved. Thank you, Jackie.
Then before we move on from financial stuff, our Zoom is going to be coming due like in the next few days.
Okay.
I'm going to just automatically renew it because I'm guessing we want to continue with Zoom. I'm gonna try, it looks like it should be about like 150 for the year. I'm gonna see if I can find a discount.
Okay.
I'll try. See what I can find.
Okay.
So that'll be on next month's warrant.
Okay, and hopefully
Oh.
next month will be, we'll have our project manager in place. Not sure we'll be invoiced yet, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, and you expect to have the January financials, I'm hoping before the next meeting, right?
Yeah,
On,
I'll reach out to Charlene and see where she's at with them.
Okay.
Hopefully in the next few days I should have them.
Okay,
So, and I'll send them off to everyone.
all right. Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions or comments for Jackie on the warrant or anything else? All right, so number 10, any other business? In the last full board meeting, we talked about the potential for either an update to the bylaws or some kind of mechanism that would allow us to more quickly approve invoices as they came. Because we've had some problems in the past with getting a quorum either at the full board meeting or the executive committee meeting, so that the warrant comes up and we can't approve it. We've had to call special meetings, etc. So at the last the last full board meeting, we had some discussion, and Laura and Jackie volunteered to go off and try to figure out if there is a way to help streamline this for us. I asked Laura to come. She's not normally part of the executive committee, but she worked on this, so we can have her maybe kick off the discussion. And Jackie, you're part of this as well, so please chime in as needed. Laura or Jackie, do you folks need me to allow you to share the screen, or is there anything you want me to share? Did we lose Laura?
No, it would help if I would unmute. I think it'd be great to have, I mean, I'm going to just go over the bylaw and some proposed amendments that I've drafted up to it.
Okay, how about I allow you to,
Yeah. Okay.
I think you're now a co-host and can share your screen if.
Let me try. Okay. Desktop. Sure, I'll try desktop.
Let me stop sharing my screen.
This always takes like going to system preferences, and
You must have your browser pretty well locked down, Laura.
I don't know, it's always this, and then I don't do this often, but I have
See if
allowed it before, but
while you're waiting, let me see if I can pull them up
where it is.
from the
I
email.
think it would be right here. Huh. Yeah.
If you want, Laura, I can pull them up. I found.
If you've got it there, yeah, go.
Yeah, let me just
ahead.
let me try to do that so that. Okay, can folks? That may be too small for folks to see. Can you? Do I need to make things bigger and only share one of the two at a time for folks?
I got a 27-inch screen, so I'm okay.
Well, some of us are in the
That's
cheap
okay.
seats, Chris.
I mean, I'm just gonna go over it anyway.
Okay,
So,
so the document on the right is the bylaws that you're talking about, right?
yeah, yeah. And I picked up a couple other things while I was looking at our bylaws. One is that it, didn't have a title on it, so I threw that on there. An amendment date. So, the bylaws, I need page, yeah, scroll down. But yeah, there. Okay, so the bylaws give us the kind of a procedure for changing the bylaws if we want to do some things. What I added was a sentence that says that so let me start again. It says the executive committee shall perform duties as assigned or delegated by the governing board. I mean, maybe you could take that you could, we just say something and that allows you to do it. But what we had said in our meeting was we wanted to appoint a few people to do these invoices, a few members of the executive committee. So what I added or proposed was a sentence that says the governing board may vote to allow invoices and pay requisitions of already approved contracts, added that, Tony, to be reviewed, approved, and signed off by 3 members of the executive committee, including the chair, the treasurer, and 1 other member. That could be some wording that would do that better, but
That's the idea.
I think that gives the authorization to, I think, what we want to do. There is a little bit of a procedure, like we have to present this to the full board 3 weeks ahead of a full board meeting and requires 2/3 of members present to be voted on.
Okay, so the reason for bringing this up here at the executive committee meeting is to first gain some advice from the executive committee if they support that we try to do this, and if so, as Laura said, if we want to do this, we'd have to bring it up, give the full governing board at least 3 weeks notice prior to a meeting. So we wouldn't be able to accomplish changing the bylaws next week during the full board meeting, but we might be able to do it for the March meeting, assuming that we can get a quorum, which would help streamline the process for approving and paying our invoices. One of the things we had a short little meeting before this. One of the things that we wanted to make sure that we didn't concentrate power too tightly in the position of the chair, so that I wouldn't want to just be the person who approves the invoices solely, so that we're not in a situation where a chairperson could go off and approve the invoices on their own. This kind of process would have at least 3 folks involved in the decision making for any invoices that we wanted to pay. And we can still bring invoices to the executive committee. We can still bring them to the full board. In fact, just sometimes, like we've talked about in the past, is we've had some trouble getting a quorum, which has delayed our ability, or it hampered our ability to pay invoices on time. Anything else to add, Jackie? The only other thing is Jackie brought up an example of how Brandon does this, maybe as a second option, and that was this letter of authorization. I don't know, you want to talk about that as a...
Yeah, so I kind of did some adjusting to the letter so that it sort of fits with what we do a little bit better. Just saying that the executive committee of the CUD authorized payments made prior to the executive committee approval for only the invoices and pay recs for the project management with Vantage Point, because really that's the only one that is going to be the issue that we're dealing with because of the terms of the contract. We have to get that one out, and that's going to be the time crunch that we're really dealing with at this point for right now. I mean, down the road, we might end up dealing with more contractors. So we might end up having to do more of these in the future, but really at this point, this is the only company that we have the issue with right now. And that these invoices will be reviewed, signed off by 3 members of the executive committee to include chairman, treasurer, and 1 other member. Invoices will still be brought to the executive committee in a separate warrant. So the executive committee is still going to see them on the warrant. They're going to be listed out separate. So nothing is going to be kind of just slip by and not seen by everybody. They're still going to be on the warrant. It's going to be listed, you know, kind of like I do the primer invoices down at the bottom. I'll just somewhere in there, I will fit in, make some space, and have like a 3rd section in the middle, you know, pre-approved invoices done on with a date, you know, approved by, you know, with the 3 people that approved them on with a date. Just to show that, you know, this is when it was done, who approved it, the date that it was done, and everything is all there included. And then at the bottom of it, normally, you know, we have everybody on the board sign it. So for this, I would say we could even just send it around. We could do snail mail. We could even just send it around electronically. Have everybody electronically sign it. I can add more lines. It's not a problem. But just to get the true authorization, just to kind of cover everybody.
Okay. So I guess, in summary, we have a couple different options for folks. I guess the first option is do nothing, which I worry about, and I know Jackie worries about in the context of the project management resources or invoices. We have 30 days to pay those once we get them, and if we struggle with getting a quorum, we might be late on those, and we'd rather not have that happen. Second option is use this letter of authorization and no changes to the bylaws. And I guess the third option is maybe some combination potentially. I think it sounds like we have a couple things in the bylaws, Laura, that regardless
Yes.
of whether we include this this new payment mechanism that we need to change. So sounds like we need to change the bylaws anyway. I guess the other option is we have this letter as and change the bylaws, or I guess just change the bylaws.
So let me ask this question so I'm clear on this. I actually kind of like the letter of authorization, even though it might be a pain in the future, but it documents and identifies the companies, the monies, that it's very well controlled versus something that's more open-ended. That's a good thing. But to get to that letter of authorization, my understanding is we would have to modify the bylaws to allow that letter of authorization, or is that as part of the bylaws today that this can be done?
Chris, that I do kind of see it the way you do. I'm not a legal expert on this, but I sort of see that both of these amending the bylaws says that the full board allows the executive committee to do this,
Yes,
to authorize, payments with 3 people, whatever. I think what's really important about the letter in the executive committee is that defines who it's being paid to. And
Yes.
actually, in fact, in the bylaw, I'm not sure I wouldn't add something like a specified payee or
yep,
recipient. I had
Specified
that
payees or
in
something.
mind as well.
yeah,
So
we're on the
that-
same page. Yep,
Yeah. I mean, maybe our legal help could say that, nah, you don't need to do the bylaws. It already gives the executive committee the ability to do that. I don't know.
it never hurts to have it specifically in there, right? I mean, rather
Doesn't
than
hurt. Yeah, exactly. Right.
the voodoo in there to interpret it that way, it's like, nah, it's spelled out. I mean, what is the
Right.
process for changing the bylaws? Is it fairly straightforward?
It
Yeah,
has to
pretty-
be, if you scroll down, it tells you that to just send there I highlighted it. Amendments to the bylaws have to be proposed and warned, written notice to all members, so we'd email it.
Yeah.
A regular meeting 3 weeks ahead, and 2/3 of members present have to vote on it. So
Yeah, that
should have a
sounds
quorum.
reasonable.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
And as Tony said, there are a couple other things. There's just a date of the annual meeting. It used to say Tuesdays,
Tuesdays or
now we
something,
meet on
yeah.
Wednesday, so I suggested changing that. There's some typo stuff.
And I would, we had during our little sort of sidebar meeting before bringing this stuff up to the executive committee, we did talk about having this all reviewed by Primer before we, go off and embark on
Yeah,
this.
that would be great.
So I agree with that. That's an important step, I think, for all of us, because I certainly am not an expert on making sure that I don't wind up in jail. And since I'm
Yeah.
the one that signs a lot of this stuff, I
Yeah,
especially
there's
don't
money
wanna go to
involved
jail.
here, so yeah, to be cautious is good.
Okay. So are folks okay if we take this back, me, Laura, and Jackie, and sort out in some quick discussions with Primer, and then present it to the board, the full board next week as an
Yeah.
idea?
Yeah,
Larry, Jessica, any concerns, comments, questions?
No, I think we're okay with a letter of authorization. As a select board member, I get nervous. I don't like everything has to flow through me first. But I understand the situation here of not having a quorum to do this, and they need to be paid. I don't think we've had too much of an issue with the executive board as far as quorum, but we've had concerns in the past with the full board. Always worrying that the day comes where we're ready to bring on a partner and we don't have a quorum to do it. So that's just an ongoing problem. But no, the letter of, yeah, go ahead and get this straightened out. I think you're kind of good to go. Leave it up to you guys to go over it again. There are new rules. I don't think they're new rules, but the governor has just extended authorization for meetings to be solely done as we're doing them now remotely to, I think it's July of 2024, where you don't need a physical location as an option. So we're good for that, but there are rules of how you sign things, and I have to go over it myself, because our next select board meeting is fully remote, and there are rules of how things get signed. And the only other thing is you've got for signing the chair, the treasurer, and you're just going to leave it at one other member? I mean, you can't name someone, but you're just saying a third member would have to, of the executive board, would have to sign on.
Yeah,
How are you going to do that? What do you mean by sign off? Is that what's the process of signing off? So in other words, three of you have decided you're going to pay an invoice. So you got the chair, the treasurer, and a third member that are going to sign off. What's that definition?
yeah. Is it a physical sign off? Is it a email?
Well, yeah, there's rules on that now, so.
Okay,
But that might be just for municipality. I've got to review that myself.
I
It's
think we
usually-
qualify as a municipality, so
Yeah, usually just say we have a select board meeting is coming up Monday. It's fully remote, but we have to sign the warrants. And so normally I would say, sometime at the beginning or right after the meeting, the next day or so, to go in and sign them. They're going to be in my mailbox and they're all labeled where to sign them. I'm not sure that you can sign them outside of a meeting. That's what I've got to, and so I've got to find out exactly how we're going to do that. So,
okay. Well, those are good questions, Larry. I appreciate it. Those are things we're gonna have to ask Primer about, I think.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I appreciate everybody's time. I know this is a little bit longer than maybe normal, but I thought it was important to broach the subject with everybody before trying to make a proposal. I really appreciate everybody's feedback on this.
one other quick question. By
Go ahead.
changing the bylaws, and it would have to be done by the governing board, can you
Right.
change the quorum, the definition of a quorum? To a percent, there's a way of doing it of a percentage of the members present, something like that, in case you don't have a certain number. That's something to research too. Other boards have done that.
Okay. I wonder if there's because we have a couple of towns who actually haven't appointed members. I wonder if that could help us lower the quorum threshold.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it sounds like we have some homework to do, ladies.
Okay,
Sorry, my
Um,
dog.
I did, can you hear me? Yeah. I did get kicked off of the Zoom there for a minute. We're having internet issues around here. So I may have missed some of the discussion. I don't know if you don't have to go over it now. I don't know, Tony, if you want to fill me in later or,
Yeah, I think Larry was just asking a few questions about how we conduct this sign off on invoices.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
a physical sign off? Is it like email? And then what are the laws
Oh, yeah.
and rules around that kind of stuff? He gave me a few good questions that I think we need to ask Eli before we can finalize this. But it sounds like people are generally supportive of trying to do something like this, but we do need some more information before we can embark on a.
Tony, I'll send everything I have that was just sent to me regarding the rules for a remote meeting only.
Okay, could you send them to the whole
Yes.
executive committee, Larry,
Yep,
please?
certainly. Yeah.
Just so that and maybe include Laura as well, because she volunteered to help with this, so.
Yep, no problem.
All right. Let me go back to the agenda. Because I think we're almost ready to wrap up. All right, so that was other business. Next meeting. Let me just check the calendars to make sure I got this right. Next meeting should be March 8th, is that right?
Yes.
Some nods, yep, okay, our next meeting will be March 8th at 5 o'clock in the evening. And I guess there's nothing else. I would like to make a motion that we adjourn.
We'll second that.
Okay, thanks, Jackie. Any discussion, questions, comments, or concerns about adjourning?
No,
No,
but I got
not
one
favorable.
question. So once you're adjourned and stop the recording, I just have a couple of housekeeping questions, okay?
Yeah, that's fine. All right, all those in favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I.
Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourned at 17:42.
So the housekeeping question, and Jackie, you may be part of this.
Hang on for a
so-
second. Let me just stop the. Let me see if I can figure out how to stop the recording.
The big stop button. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it probably is a big stop button. It's just not showing up. Stop the recording.
it.
Okay,